33. On the opposite side, 41 to 49. So A side with a decisive advantage, both technologically, now getting his range upgrade as well. Got the cybernetics score going down, and we'll see if basically LJ can push it up in the meantime as he goes down the line. It looks like he is going to expand. He's going to use cannons to try to hold that expansion in the meantime. And so he's only basically got a couple zealots. He'll have a couple dragoons. Looks like he's got 5 zealots. He will have a couple dragoons alongside. Looks like he's producing the dragoons now, but I still think he's going to have a little bit of a hard time. These cannons do not range reavers, so that cannon actually could act as fodder if a reaver shot decided to go in and hit and explode around, though that would take a lot of the probes alongside with it. So A side in the meantime, as you can see, producing dragoons out of these 2 gates. If he decides to put down a 3rd gateway and do kind of double push, no, he's going to put down the observatory. We'll see if he puts down the 3rd gateway in a moment or decides to expand additionally. But right now he's doing pretty well on his unit count, 54 to 57 versus the 39 out of 49 for LJ. And so I think LJ is actually, even though he's going these defensive cannons, I don't think it's going to help him in the long term. In the meantime, transferring some probes right here, as you can see, to his secondary. Got 2 dragoons in the background. I'm surprised that he went with these cannons again for the defensive. He is continuing to this is important that he's persistently attempting to scout, even though it's going to be pretty readily denied. A side in the meantime, looking like he's in a pretty good position here to probe scout denied. Looks like it's going to be in a pretty good position to take this down. He's got these 2 dragoons. He's got a good grouping of zealots. We'll see when he decides to push, if he's going to wait for... He has produced a shuttle here in the meantime. We'll see if he's going to get... He does have the cybernetics core down as well. Now he has the observatory out. He's almost got that range upgrade finished. And now, actually, I think this is given time LJ is going to take an economic lead here. The longer this persists on, he does have those 2 expansions up. He is technologically behind. Keep in mind, he does not have reavers. He still only has 2 gateways. But otherwise... We'll see if basically this proficient reaver would probably be a reaver alongside a couple zealots or something alongside that. If that will end up doing pretty well for A side. A side in the meantime looks like he's running into a side gap as well. As you can see, 65 out of 65, putting down an additional gateway while he's running into that, which is actually intelligent to do. If you're running into a side gap and there's nothing else you can spend it on, might as well put it on something else. Now we're seeing a big tech up, a lot of gateways going down. So 5 gateways, so it's going to be 7 gateways total for LJ. So LJ going to take full advantage. It looks like he's just going to do some straight infantry push past this. So basically A side's going to that's where that side capper is really going to hurt him. He needs to get this reaver out, and he needs to be really effective with this reaver harass. Otherwise he's just going to get bowled over by this ridiculous amount of, basically the comparative ridiculous amount of gateways. Now some more probe scouts being sent out just in case there's an additional expansion out in the field that LJ was not aware of. And now as we can see that observer being pushed out alongside, so A side going to push up an attack. That reaver is inside its shuttle, as you can see, starting to push up along the top side. Unfortunately, from the angle it's coming at, I think these cannons will be effective at defending from that angle, unless LJ uses some, unless A side, I should say, uses some fairly good micro. As you can see, yeah, he's going to come out at this angle and he's going to hit. No, actually, I take it back. I thought that cannon was a little closer there. He's going to have to pull it back though. As you can see, does manage to get one shot off. Doesn't manage to kill any probes though. A little bit of a dud, and those dragoons being pulled back to the side. But this is very clever on A side's part. What he's going to do is he's going to tempt these dragoons over, and then while they're tempted over, it looks like he's going to shove the rest of his attack force in, and another probe going to be able to sneak around though in the meantime, as and that's going to give a lot of indications to LJ. First of all, that attack force is now in the field. Looks like 3 dragoons being separated from the pack, so they're going to end up getting killed here, and that is bad for LJ. But LJ in the meantime, I think this is past the point of loss for A side, as long as he keeps up I'm sorry, a point of victory for A side, as long as LJ keeps up with his macro at this point. I think he's going to come down with this match, even though he's losing these 3 dragoons. Keep in mind these gateways in the background are going to be pumping here just momentarily, if they're not already. And so as long as, and you can see about almost 1,000 minerals here. So as long as these, wow, a bunch of pylons as well as a citadel going down. As long as these gateways keep pumping, LJ is going to be perfectly fine. Now the Reaver getting kind of sent away. I wish he'd bring it in at the other angle. I think if he brings it, it looks like he is starting to bring it down. And now, as you can see, A side also expanding. We'll see if A side decides to push in an attack right now. He is starting to push up. The other thing I didn't check, it doesn't look like weapons 1 is finished. And so now here comes the attack. A Reaver alongside, 2 Reavers alongside, and those cannons aren't going to do very well against the Reavers. And honestly, AJ putting up a pretty good defensive position. And this is, yeah, the cannon's going to get absolutely worked. Both cannons down. And now it doesn't look like LJ did keep up with his macro. A side just pushing in. The secondary at the very least is going to go down, and I think this shuttle is going to be able to ferry troops right over that cannon. cannon, even if that cannon, not gonna, probes being fled, and I think this is gonna be it. This is probably gonna be GG from LJ, so it looks like A side is gonna in fact take game one. So A side attacking, and LJ, even though he took the big economic lead early and did look like he was in a good position to kind of macro it up, did not keep up with his macro and therefore ended up falling behind. So A side continuing to push this attack, and these two Reavers, they're going to be the capper right there, as you can see, just continuing and attacking in. So there goes that Nexus. Going to be able to push in from here, and that cannon already down the side. We'll see if some emergency cannons. No additional gateways being put down by LJ in the meantime, even though I don't think he has enough to support the, with that second Nexus down, I don't think he has enough to support the 7-8 gateways he already has down. So now that front going to be crashed in. The backside, you can see additional gateways being put down now that that secondary Nexus is up for A side. A side now pushing down, crashing up, and as you can see, those Reavers being dropped right in the front. That shuttle is down, so these Reavers are somewhat vulnerable. But honestly, I don't think these 3 Dragoons are even going to be able to take that second Reaver down. Getting that first Reaver, nice concentration of fire. But yeah, now you can see these 2 front gateways are going to get taken out, and the rest of these gateways just are not at a high enough production rate to stop this attack from A side. So it looks like we're going to see GG in a couple seconds here, as I can see the replay bar starting to get towards the end, kind of just waiting for it. Unfortunately, we can't see text. There's GG by LJ. So A side taking game one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, thanks to starfeeder.com, rtsprofessional.com, and sc2forums.org for organizing this. I will continue with the next game momentarily, and thanks.